Hi, welcome to another episode of Anxiety Blog series. And the title of the my latest newsletter is Multiple Realities Can Exist Even in a Panic Attack. Have you been to a mood elevator? It was one of the times I was braving taking the subway with less white knuckling. I already had more than a handful of practices. In my mind, I think I'm doing better with each practice and exposure I put in. Or probably it was more of a tone of debating or convincing myself rather than knowing, hence my feelings were off or panicky. I hadn't known about the three principles yet, but I was making progress during this time, little by little, through a lot of things that I did, like exposure therapy, talk therapy, meditation, and a lot more. And as soon as the train went underground, the feelings intensified. As my brain focused on the intensity, consequently giving me all the sensations, a thought entered in my mind. Am I going to panic? Is it time for panic? Lo and behold, ironically, I laugh out loud at the thought, at least in my mind, and the brewing panic suddenly melted away. The trap, two sides of the same coin. When you are on the brink of having a panic attack, there is that sense of doom and you feel trapped. You can't see anything, but you have this intense feeling that there's this massive, formless, dark smoke engulfing you. Your wisdom tries to kick in from that smoky, freezing panic attack. And if there still isn't too much noise up there in your head, wisdom cracks a little, hence you can only see but two sides of the same coin. One, where is the exit door? How can I get there fast? And two, this is it. It's the end for me. There's no way out. Yes, the fight, flight, freeze is wisdom, always, always in our favor. However, since we're always feeling or thinking 100% of the time, this is expected from anyone or for anyone experiencing a panic attack, as it often results in a constricted view of the situation. But that doesn't mean that the massive space around the coin does not exist when one is panicking. It's like saying the sun ceases to exist just because it's too many clouds today. The other reality is always available, even in a panic attack. And I quote, nature has infinite separate realities. Each reality becomes a fact to its observer. From Sydney Banks' book, The Quest of the Pearl. When the observer has too much going on in his mind, then his reality bends to it, only for him. I'm in the middle of a panic attack. How can I go to that available reality? The three principles is not a solution, but an understanding, explaining, and describing how things work in the context of our psychology. One cannot escape falling into the illusion of our thinking because that is how it is designed, even if we understood the three principles perfectly. Just like physics, a branch of science in its essence seeks to understand, explain, or describe how the universe works, the fundamentals, the basic laws of things around us. Because of a basic understanding of gravity, for example, we are not scared or surprised when we see things fall. We can even come up with ideas to work with the presence of gravity for safety as necessary, such as installing safety bars or a glass panel for high rise structures. Imagine this for a moment. The river is designed to flow. Whether you reroute it or you stop it, it will always find a way. The current or energy of the river is meant to move, pass, and flow. In the event that there's a huge surge that happens from time to time and somebody puts a big boulder to stop it altogether, can you imagine an even bigger surge and potential explosion? It poses an even bigger problem or damage. The big river surge Much like the panicky mind, there's a swell of energy that may even appear convoluted. However, it's a signal. The wisdom is telling the wisdom is telling you that it needs to flow. And second, this is more important to understand that the thoughts don't matter too much, whatever they are, how intense, how weird, and how much. Because while that reality of river surge exists, the option to sit on top of one of the boulders while the swell of the river passes is always available simultaneously. There's no better option though if you want to ride into the surge and fit it all in, or sit on top of the rock and just watch its flow from afar. The difference between wisdom and folly is that fools know only what they think, but the wise know that they are the thinker. From Sydney Banks' book, The Quest of the Pearl. There's less work to do to go to that reality, even if you are in a panic. What brings you there is understanding of the basics, how it works, and the result will take care of itself. Soon, you never notice you were already on the shore, and the strong current has already subsided. Not halted, still with movement, but in a state that doesn't bother you anymore. Or, if you happen to choose to sit on top of a rock instead of a flow ride, the water won't splash too much on your body by then. Now it has just turned into a steady flow of stream brushing on your feet, where you now enjoy the river waters. When it's the same river that brought some panicky feelings earlier. Have you been to a mood elevator? If we're saying that no one is immune to falling into the trap of the illusion of our thinking, are we just going to live our lives with anxiety and panic forever? In a state of anxiety or panic, when you are in the basement of a building, would you expect some clear view, spacious rooms, relaxing fragrance, or just that life giving energy of the outdoors? Definitely no. It's dark. Since it's dark, there is a possibility you might misconstrue things for other things through the gift of imagination, a form of thought with a capital T. In the basement, there's a lot of crap, useless and broken things are stored there. There could also be a rotten smell, plus it could be so hot that you badly wanted to get out as soon as possible. But as the elevator rises and you try to step out on each floor, you seem to see different things, but you actually did not move. The elevator stays in the same spot, at least vertically, but you see things differently as you go up. The shift in perception gives birth to a miracle without you doing so much hard work, but by just seeing and understanding. The goal is not or to prevent at all costs to go to the basement. Not at all. The goal is not to prevent anxiety and panic. There is no goal, but just an understanding that on some days, the mood elevator goes to the basement and you might fall for it innocently. That's fine, it's normal. And when you're there, remember this: you cannot trust your thinking. And in the same way, you know that there is wisdom behind all of this. It's in us, that never left and never will, where with one thought can bring you to other elevator levels as far as you want to go. And I would like to end with this. Life being a contact sport, there's no such thing as immunity from the trials and tribulations that it brings. There's no way that you or anyone else is going to escape from getting their bumps throughout life. However, The more wisdom you can find for yourself, the more you can learn to avoid the unnecessary bumps. It's like playing any other contact sport. A wise player avoids unnecessary injuries. From Sydney Banks, The Quest of the Pearl. With love, light, and laughter. See you again next time. Bye.